Okay.
Yeah, we're live
Hey,
on
I'm
Twitch.
Robert Biehl. I am a loan officer here in Kansas City. And you're watching the BiehlCast because I really would rather not be talking about mortgages all the time. And to make sure that I don't do this tonight, I am joined by two guests. One of my close friends, John Nelson, who is a mortgage lender with me here at Fountain Mortgage. And then I've got Emily Sappingfeld.
I'm glad you're the close friend, and
who is a mentor and a pivotal both of these people are probably the reason I'm in this business. But what's your title here at Fountain?
HR training,
HR
something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a little bit ago we were talking about how you have a terrible time like talking on the radio. You have a hard time listening to your voice. So
I do.
But yet you agreed to do this with me tonight.
I did. That's how much I like you.
How about you, John? You like the way you sound?
I love the way I sound.
See, I told
and
you
I'm
there
doing
are
this.
people.
My reasoning's the opposite of hers. I'm doing this because of my disdain for you.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
yeah.
That's fair enough. I'll take all of that. I'll take all that energy. But I will say, John's voice has always been very interesting to me. So we worked in the car business at a Toyota dealership back in the day. He was a salesperson, became finance manager, went on and did all these like amazing things. John, I noticed that the depth of his voice, like based on where the person is in like the organizational chart, his voice gets deeper. Like the voice he uses to talk to me, and I've seen this live in real time. So when we were at Toyota, he would talk to me, and then he would talk to my boss, and it was like, "What's going on there?" And then my boss's boss would come in town, and so. But when you leave a voicemail for John, you get the boss's boss's. But it's like this beautiful silky baritone.
It's like the kids say, you got to lock in for the right people. You know?
Yes,
Yeah.
which is people that are calling you to do a mortgage.
Well, last night those people were at karaoke last night. Not that my former bosses were at karaoke, but I kind of locked in for karaoke. I did a little Bon Jovi.
You were karaokeing? How did I miss this skill of yours?
No, I this was like first time in decade.
Oh,
Really?
impressive.
Yeah, did a little Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
A little Amarillo by Morning by George Strait.
Okay.
Oh.
And you've got to get that depth.
Did you sing? Like, were you in like?
Oh,
music
I
and all that
was
stuff?
no, not at all. No, I did last night.
I was going to say, wait, isn't that the point of karaoke? You were singing
Yeah, no, I
last night.
sang.
So, but do you have you got a musical background, right?
I played cello.
Okay.
Yeah, I played cello
Okay.
for a long time.
But you were never like in choir or anything like that?
no, just those like elementary school choirs.
Yeah.
That they force you to do for like the Christmas show and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
What about you?
Fifth and
Did you
sixth
sing?
grade. Oh no. Sports, basketball was about that was about it. I did play volleyball for a little bit till my dad told me.
You're tall.
Till my dad told me my sophomore year that I wasn't very good and I should quit. So
Wow,
Your dad told you to quit volleyball?
that's a lot to unpack right there.
But you know what? I think that's maybe part of like a role of a parent as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
you have to know where your gifts are, and it was basketball, and that's what I should do. My mom wouldn't
Right.
let me play softball because she was afraid I'd get hurt. So
Okay.
But
you didn't have any problems playing basketball in front of a bunch of people? Just
No.
just being on the radio is the issue.
just being on the radio, something about it. I've played in front of thousands of people
yeah.
in the Carrier Dome, even when I was 12, something like that.
So
Oh.
okay. So where did you play? Where are you from? Like where did you play
Independence,
high school and
Missouri.
all that
So
stuff? Okay.
I went to Truman. So
Okay.
I played basketball there, and then went on to Southeast Kansas and played at a junior college. I'd signed
What's the junior college?
Fort Scott Community College.
Right on.
Go
Yeah,
Greyhounds.
Fort Scott.
Hey, one of the famous guys was in Ted Lasso. Who's the main guy in Ted Lasso?
One of the famous guys.
From Kansas City.
Paul Rudd? Is that?
No, not Paul Rudd.
I don't
That's
know.
a good guess.
That's the Kansas City guy. I don't know.
I think I know
He
exactly.
went to Fort Scott.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy that in this moment right
I
now,
know, I
none of us can
couldn't
think
think
of
of-
this guy's.
Yeah.
The main
this guy's
guy.
name.
Danny, you know this?
The main guy in Ted
No?
Lasso.
Okay.
He created it.
It doesn't.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
We'll
He
edit-
went to
we'll edit
he
all
went to
this
Fort
out.
Scott. So
Yeah. Have you watched Ted Lasso?
No.
Did you watch?
I
I
Ted
don't really
did.
watch content.
Okay, that's content.
I would. Yeah.
Like Netflix and all that. Yeah.
Just like TikTok.
No, I don't. I have TikTok, but unfortunately, the Instagram reels are the death of me.
Oh,
Yeah. but-
I'd say attention span comes into play there a little bit. But
yeah, for sure. That's
No,
the thing.
last night I was with my friend Elise, and we ended up watching this just garbage, trash, like reality TV Survivor thing called. What's it called?
is it
It's
new?
called-
The whole
Yeah.
island, something about if the family member
it's
kicks you off.
so stupid. It's like all these like celebrities, but they're only celebrities from being on like other like reality like shows like Survivor and Big Brother and that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds brutal.
It does.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it drew you. I mean, those things are designed to draw you.
I was going to say it sucked you in, and you guys stayed around for a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, while you were doing that, did you get any pre-approvals? Did you have any opportunities?
We're not supposed to talk about
business-wise?
mortgages.
So
That's
I
not
feel
what
like
this
since
is
we're here
about.
in Fountain Mortgage, which is where we work, and I'd like to thank
Yeah,
the
shout out
owners.
to Fountain Mortgage.
Yeah, the owners of Fountain Mortgage. We were here for my birthday just this last weekend. I was able to sit down with some people and do some like kind of quick hit podcasts. Yeah, okay. So we've done like basically our contractual obligation there with Fountain.
Oh,
We'll
really?
Talk about the shout out here, but seriously,
Yeah,
though,
I
you
got my
kind of-
check. It just cleared.
Right, but you work all the. But like as a loan officer, like it doesn't matter where you are
Right.
at any given time. Like shit can go down, right?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it could. I mean, somebody could need something at 10 o'clock at night, and we're going to be there to help them out.
Yeah, and so
I feel like that's the same for me as well, though. I feel like I've answered questions for both of you at 10 o'clock at night on
Primetime home buyer.
Yeah, but that's
10
for
p.m.
that's for a reason that we can't really talk about on the podcast.
Danny's got a mic, by the way.
Oh, nice.
I hooked it up. Yeah.
That
there
wasn't
you
the
go.
voice of God.
I kind of like that actually.
I do too.
You know, hey, shout out to Danny, the producer.
Absolutely.
There's sound
yeah.
effects too. Wait, hold on. I think I can. Oh, never mind. I was going to give myself an applause, but it's okay.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of like when the drummer shows up with a song. So, but yeah, no, absolutely. Like, so John was the person that told me to get into the mortgage business.
You know, how did I first start working with you? Was that at Bison?
FMD.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I wasn't because where were you? Was that
So I
your
was at
first?
Zillow previously, and then Joe Lewis
Okay.
told me to come over to Fountain.
Okay.
Or not Fountain, sorry,
And
Bison.
I worked with
FMD,
Joe years ago when it was
MLOA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
There it is.
Yeah, so John was like, "Hey, you should get into the business." I started putting applications out, and nobody had any interest. Like I felt like as a general sales manager of a couple big car dealerships that like this is something that I could figure out. But at the time it was 2021 and like huge refi boom, rates were like, negative. It was insane. And nobody wanted to take the time to train somebody. And so I had, and so so Lisa Brozniak, and I'm going to name drop because she's going to be on an episode at some point. She got my resume from John Blank, who is a guy I worked with at the Hendrick organization, who's a financial planner.
I don't know him.
And I think she got that resume to somebody at Bison. I don't know if it was you. I don't know who it was.
And I've known Lisa for years through mortgage insurance, obviously, but
is there another mortgage insurance person in Kansas? I've never seen.
there
any of
actually are. But
Okay,
Lisa is by far.
them. I don't have a favorite mortgage insurance. I have a favorite mortgage insurance rep.
Yeah.
So as a result, I have a favorite mortgage insurance.
Yeah. And actually, I think Lisa knew the HR manager at FMD Bison.
Okay.
And she sent our resume over to Stephanie and I. And so we saw your resume. And I will say, over the years, this may be an unpopular opinion with who I'm sitting with, but I wasn't typically super successful with car guys.
Yeah,
And
we suck. Like we got to be in front of somebody all the time.
I was going to say it's a handshake and a smile. I mean, it depends on, and I've had some successful car guys on my teams in the past, but they were new and more luxury brands. But there was something about your resume, sitting and chatting with Steph and with you, it was more of a conversation and your past history in sales, and it seemed like a fit.
Yeah, I remember the interview. Like Stephanie made a comment to me, basically like, "Car guys can't do this." I mean, that was effectively what it was. I walked out of there.
Well, and I think we had the reference of John. Is that somehow I think we put together that you two were friends, and Stephanie had tons of experience with you, and I have obviously have experience with her, and was there to develop and create a training program. And for me, and there was a couple people there, and then we hired another young salesperson to get into it. And I think with the three of you guys, it worked really well. And then we hired another class after that, and then the rates effing bombed.
Yeah,
Then
but I
everything
was
just blew up.
I was really fortunate. I mean, because I knew what John was capable of. Like in my previous career, I understood kind of his skill set. I'm not gonna. I mean, I understand that he's the greatest to ever do it and the greatest to ever whoever will do
He
it.
does.
I get that.
Yeah.
But I understood like, and then we had another friend, Bree, who is still at Zillow, and I kind of was like, okay, I have that skill set. I think I can do that. And mostly, other than marriages, everything I've like tried to do, I've not, I've been
bombed
able
that too.
I've been able to figure that out.
I think you're one away from really getting it figured out.
Hey, I'm with. I think third time's a charm for you, buddy.
So, no, I think I'm good to go. Although if I were to like have a fourth wife, I would just like wear like a monocle all the time, and I would want to be referred to as like the Baron. Or I think that the more wives you get, to some extent, you become a little bit more eccentric, and now
Right,
you're
like
a cartoon
Sir Robert
character.
Beale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but right now I think I'm
Sounds
good
got
with the. I think I'm good with.
You're good with
the wife.
Mr. Beale?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm good with Jessica, my wonderful wife. And back to what I was going to say. Okay, so I get hired. So I do that interview, and I remember walking out of it, and I'm like, I feel like I connected with Emily. I don't think
That's a hard sale.
I don't think I sold Steph. And so I get back into the car. My wife was asleep in the car.
Was she?
Yes.
I did not know that. I've never known that. That's funny.
Yes. And so I tell her like what's going on. And then you know what I do? No. I drive to meet another woman for another mortgage lender and have an interview.
Interesting.
Wow.
And so I go and we have lunch and we start talking, and she's like, look, I can't hire you. And she's like, my husband was in the car business. I know you guys are hustlers. You do a good job. I don't have the capacity to train you. You need to find a job and come see me, which is sort of like sucks.
So who's that other person?
I'm not going to get into that. She's going to buy, but she bought my lunch, which was nice. And I said, and so she says that, and I go, fair. I'm not going to come to work for you. I just got a job offer. And I talked to her about the offer.
Oh.
And she was like, yeah, it seemed like a good way to go. Or I just had an interview, and I think that there's something or whatever. I can't remember. I don't think I had the offer yet, but I did call her when I got the offer. And she was like, yeah, go do it. And then for like the first few months I was in the business, like she'd ask me how stuff went. But
there's a lot of people, I think, in Kansas City that lender-wise that didn't want to invest the time and money that it took that Bison was willing to put into a brand new training program. I mean, it's kind of like going to a doctor. You're paying for their school, their experience. You're paying for so much. And a lot of mortgage companies didn't want to do that. And so him giving me a chance also to be able to build that program and to have the reign to go out and interview who I wanted to and to hire who I wanted to.
Yeah, I was really excited when I got the job offer, and I had been told by Zillow I'd gone like 3 interviews into Zillow, and somebody was like, I made a comment about a better work-life balance, right? Car business, you're working 12-hour days, 6 days a week. It sucks.
It's very different.
In the middle of the refi boom.
Yeah, it's just like brutal. And I'm like, no, it's not that I won't work. And it pissed me off. Like I figured out how to track this guy down, his email.
Yeah.
And I got them to basically say, look, we're not going to hire until the beginning of the year. We'll do another interview.
They wanted to see how your training went.
I didn't tell them I had that job yet. But in between, I got the job offer from you guys. And then when they reached back out to me, I was like, see you later. And so the benefit that I had was that I spent like 3 weeks solid in a basement with you, one-on-one.
I still think that sounds terrible, though.
Yeah. Just stuck in the mortgage dungeon.
Yeah.
No, it was
learning about guidelines.
No, I mean, I was one of the, I made that transition. We had planned for it. We had like kind of saved and like prepared to like make that deal. Mm-hmm. And so, but I mean, I needed to make money like yesterday. So it was like as quickly as I could. I was a very willing and like open student to your tutelage.
Yeah. Having somebody that has, especially if you're wanting to get in the mortgage business, depending on, I'm not sure how yours went.
Zillow was the same way. Zillow had like an intensive like 6 or 8 week program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, like, if you didn't pass the test, they fired you.
Yes.
So,
well, we gave,
which is fair.
At my previous place. See, I had a pretty good history at getting people to pass the test.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I only had a handful of people that couldn't pass the test on the first time. And if they, did pretty well, you would have several people that would get a 73 or a 72. If that was it, and I felt like they could go through and do it, then we would give them another opportunity to be able to pass the test. But safe test is no joke. I mean, it's hard. So
and so I didn't have to take that.
Right, because it was a bank.
At a bank.
Yeah.
I had to avoid that. Then my next stop I was a bank as well. And then
Did you just have to take that to come here?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was in all.
And you
I
did
was in
well.
all 50
You got like
states.
a 85 or 86 or
Yeah,
something.
but I was so obsessed over it. I mean, every day. And the other bank,
we
I'm
met
sure
at
was like,
we
what
met
is
at
going
lunch.
on?
Yeah.
We even met at lunch to be able to walk through stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent like 2 weeks like hardly working. You know, like I was surprised that the other lender wasn't like, what's going on here? And but I was like, I approached it like a job because I was
Absolutely.
like, this would be the stupidest thing for me not to pass.
And that's
so
a lot of times when people would fail is that they didn't realize that one was connected to the other.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're going to get fired if the previous training program I had went through and constructed and kind of reconstructed, that was kind of their gig too. Like if I thought they were okay, otherwise you were.
I didn't pass my driver's license exam the first time. And it was so.
Why does that not?
But it was such a brutal experience for me. And listen, most of the people that I consider like super sharp people didn't. Like they didn't pass.
Are you
the
talking about like
first
when you were
time.
like a
16?
teenager?
Yeah, I'm talking about my driver's license.
Like not recently.
And I remember
okay.
being so irritated by that, but that carried forward to any of these type of certification tests that I ever took. You know, there was a short period of time where I did real estate, like any type of certification type thing. I figured that out because, I mean, if it's just a test, like typically that's the biggest barrier to entry to something.